new songs.
Here we go. Now you can record some funny banter at the beginning of the podcast.
Now we can start talking? Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Funny banter.
So it's like a little kid when they see Santa and then they run up to Santa and they just freeze.
Overstimulated with the woke generation.
Like the first show yesterday, I was probably 20 feet from the door. Kids would come running in ready to see, and then they see Santa. So all of a sudden it got real and they just stopped. And something wouldn't stop. There was a couple that ran straight in and jumped.
What's up, everybody? It's Sunday.
Kudos.
You know why you're here. Because we got Bill, we got Britt, and we got Santa.
Oh.
Have you been good or bad?
I told you I've been good, Santa.
I got a list, and I'll be checking it twice.
He won't let me sit on his lap.
Well, we kind of talked punk rock last night on the other podcast, and like I said, I've watched a lot of interviews, and Iggy Pop is, deemed the godfather of punk, for whatever reasons. The Stooges. I can see it. I like it. But he does not like the term punk rock because punk rock, in essence, is anti-establishment, anti-label, and that's something that the label had to put on it, put it in a box to present it to people. So, punk rock.
Good point.
Yeah, it doesn't need it. It's all rock and roll, in my opinion. There's like 9 genres, and that's it. You start breaking stuff down any further than that, it's just like... Ow, it hurts.
It's all rock and roll. It doesn't matter. It's all rock and roll.
There's 2 types of music. Good
and bad.
I thought it was country and western. Okay, there's 4 kinds of
music.
Yeah. All right.
What's up, Mackenzie? Ho, ho, ho. What's up, Janta? Jana. Can't talk today.
Jana.
He's usually the one screwing up names.
Santa may or may not be at the 16th show.
16th show.
Yeah. Santa hasn't decided yet.
Santa hasn't decided.
Notice I'm talking.
December's as busy. In December 16th?
Yes.
It's a Saturday, as I recall.
Yeah, it's at the
what's that?
Whichever one. There's two events back to back. One is Salina Raisin Toys.
That's not the one.
Which is the 9th. Well, I'm just going in order is what I'm doing.
Okay. So
that's going on Salina. That's next week. That's next Saturday. Yep. And then on the 16th, another one, Raisin Toys. And it's going to be at Champ. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. Santa may or may not be. I'm going to try to look like that one in the picture there.
Yeah, come sit on Santa's lap.
We'll be doing some live art to raffle off. It's always been pretty successful.
Yeah.
And you never know what I'm going to paint until I start painting it. Maybe Christmas Eve, it may not be. Or maybe Christmas Eve that's gone really bad.
Even Dead Christmas.
I'm
chainsaws.
I'm definitely known more for my horror art than I am for my pretty art. So,
but we are here because we got a punk show next week. The Embarrassment. How do you label that? You guys are now the Embarrassment. Formerly, well, it's a confusing thing, right?
I know it must be.
But
blame Britt here because you thought of that last year when we knew that the Embarrassment was going to have like this rare reunion show because everybody's out of state. I'm the only one local, and then that was scheduled. That was happening last October,
right,
or something. And then meanwhile, meantime, our friend Eric asked us to do kind of a preview warm-up show at the Historical Museum, a lunchtime concert as a trio.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a name for it yet, but we knew we were going to be like, we're going to be like an Embarrassment tribute band of some sort, because I know the songs and I can sing the songs, even though I don't sing the songs in the old situation.
So
it's like, what do we call it? And luckily, Britt was pretty quick. He's quick-witted.
The embarrassed man.
The
Yeah,
embarrassed
yeah.
man.
I know that actually sounds
because it sounds
perfect for what the way it's because it's like the embarrassed men playing the embarrassment.
That's exactly right.
But yeah,
Embarrassment tribute band with a ringer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I guess yeah. I mean, if you'd ever heard of the embarrassment anyway, you would be even more confused by
Mhm.
being confronted with both of those
Yeah.
names. Like, what?
Well, I mean, I've been following your art for a couple of years now, so I mean, I
Thanks.
didn't realize you played music also well.
I'm probably following your art too. I follow a lot of artists
Yeah.
because we do a lot of art. So
That's cool. I'm really
we love collaborating with people. We really do. Like I said, a lot of people know, especially me, for doing live art. He does too. He doesn't like it as much as I do.
yeah, and that's a whole nother culture, like the
Yeah.
live art scene.
Yeah.
Because
I can do a portrait in 20 minutes.
I've heard of some of those events, like competitions and stuff.
I
They're
won't not enter a competition.
artists on stage.
Yeah, not even.
I don't even know how they do that. You have like a time limit, and then you're given some.
Once the band's done, pretty much.
And how is it judged?
Yeah.
The competitions? I don't enter those, but
Yeah.
I've been up on stage with like Rudy Love Jr. Never my band, obviously, because we're playing.
Well, there you go. Now you got something to work for. Just
Oh,
on a
God,
mic.
I can't think of all the bands. There's just been a lot of bands that I've actually done live art show.
Yeah.
So probably
Yeah.
Rudy Love Jr. being, if you want to talk about big names, probably one of the biggest. So
Yeah, I like Rudy. He's a good guy.
Very talented
But
guy.
yeah, my art's way too small most of the time now to do, because I think of live art, I think of big,
Yeah.
large scale, because I
this
used
is
to
usually
see,
about as small as we'll go.
yeah, because I think of like somebody would be a guest on some daytime TV or even a late night TV show, and they'd be, okay, we're bringing out this artist and he's going to paint something, and it's always the trick of like you won't recognize quite what it is until at the very end he turns it upside
Yeah,
down
yeah.
and it's Bob Dylan
Yeah.
portrait. Whoa!
I don't do that either.
So,
I couldn't do that.
Well,
I'm lucky I can
and
paint.
you know those
That's what I'm saying.
guys is a
Can't
tech.
even-
It's almost like drawing by numbers after a while. 'Cause they
Yeah,
did that
right.
same thing
practice
over
those
Yeah.
moves
and over and over. Me, it's like I start throwing paint at it, and then I see an image, and then this image comes out, and sometimes it looks something like who's the guy from Thompson, the artist
Stedman,
Stedman. Like, have you ever
Yeah,
seen
Stedman.
Stedman's work?
Yeah.
He was the artist for
like kind of like ink splatter, and then he turns it into
kind of the
Oh,
Gone
the,
author
yeah.
stuff.
Oh.
He was the artist for that, and he was from Britain, and he's one of my influences for that. And I just throw paint.
You literally throw paint?
Literally, I'll throw paint. So it depends on where I'm at, because I don't want to
Yeah.
get paint on other people's stuff. Not on
Oh.
purpose, anyway. I accidentally got some paint
Yeah.
on one hand, but it was so windy, man. It kept blowing
Yeah.
my piece off.
outdoor painting is even different than in like indoor
We-
painting. It's like
Because
wow.
we lost a whole tent that one time. I don't know how we didn't destroy our artwork. It was so fun. I'm gonna
Do
get.
you know
scribbled.
local artist Charles Bauman? That he's at the Art in the Park, used to be called, the place way up on the north side of town, like 29th Street. Art classes they do, but he also does large scale like splatter kind of
Yeah.
paintings of landscape themes, and they're large scale. So when you get enough the proper distance, I mean, you know what he's depicting. They're objective.
I think I might have
but
read.
they're-
I know the name. I'm
Yeah, he's done some big murals. I think
there are people for the size that Wichita is. At times, we probably have artists and entertainment as cities that probably twice to three times our size. It's amazing how many people we have.
come a long way from the late 70s.
Yeah,
what we remember.
Well, and back then, if you wanted to make it, and it's still that kind of way. This here is you still got to travel out of town, out of
Yeah,
state if you
yeah.
want to get somewhere. You can do well in town, but then that's if you want to be a big fish in a small pond. But if you just want to get out there and be seen, like I do,
Hey, give Kyle a ho ho ho, Santa.
yeah,
Give him a ho ho ho.
ho ho ho.
There you go. No bah humbug. 'Tis the season.
And I kind of let myself down because I got my undershirt sticking out right now.
I
So
thought that was part of the I see now. That is a problem.
He's gonna moon you.
It's punk.
I thought you had two. That's the punk Santa.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
I thought
well, no,
you
it's
had-
tucked in the whole time, and after doing 2 shows, it gets so hot, so I had to do it so I could breathe a little.
Those are some serious boots, Santa.
Oh yeah, you don't need a reason to be taller, but yet Here he is, 3 inches taller, Kevin.
I'm about that much short of 6'7" when I wear these things.
Platforms. Is that Glam Santa?
Man, he's got it all. The
Or
Mega
Kiss.
The Mega Mix.
Actually, I think I'm going to make a tie-dye Santa costume.
There you go.
Well,
That's
I want to
awesome.
know about when the Embarrassment got started and your band, the scene at that time. It's like I said, I watched the documentary that you got a couple little mini documentaries, I think, on YouTube. The Embarrassment Men. There's a couple of them on there.
Oh gosh, I don't know what. I mean, now it's like there's the feature length thing.
Yeah.
That's out, but I don't know. There
Yeah.
always was other stuff on YouTube. And
I didn't look at the date.
That was done at
but-
Sundance Film Festival, wasn't it?
No,
Not
it was-
Sundance.
no,
the
it
local one.
was-
Yeah,
Tallgrass.
no.
Tallgrass. Sorry,
Yeah.
I went to New California.
It's still playing. It's still making the rounds, but now it's available on Night Flight for streaming,
Yeah.
which I hear is a cool channel. You know, if you have to pay to subscribe, but then you get a lot of, if you're into cult movies and music documentaries and stuff, maybe,
Yeah.
and stuff from back in that period, maybe has something to do with why it's on there. I don't know, but well, you were asking like, we didn't have a scene.
Yeah, I think that's
it
what
was
it's
very
kind of said.
small.
You guys made it.
Yeah, it
because-
was.
The
Yeah.
music in general that time period, like you said, 'cause we were naming off places. Remember the old gin and beer mill too.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
Tennessee,
that.
Tennessee's gin.
Well,
Is that what
yeah,
they called it?
yeah, but it was more just referred to as.
Yeah,
gin
they
mill.
shortened it.
Yeah, but that was much
But-
more of the heavy metal.
But I'm
or
just
the
saying for live
rock.
music.
But yeah, but absolutely, yeah,
Just for
And-
live music, man. It was just Two Feathers with more jazz
yeah.
and blues.
Well, and we played.
See, I was there. I'm telling you, I was there. If you don't believe me,
I was not there. I was not conceived. I was conceived in '79. So
There you go.
I may have been alive.
Yeah, you were alive.
I was alive for it.
That was when our
Top
that
of
was
the
when our the Embarrassment was conceived in
Yeah.
'79.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
you
we'd
might
already-
be an embarrassment.
Yeah, we'd already been through a few.
Josh is an embarrassment.
This is no lie.
That's what
I have
my
embarrassed
mom
a few
told-
people.
Yeah, I learned that a few years later. Well, later in life, I was told
What's up, Miss Stephanie? How you
Did you an
doing?
embarrassment?
on accident. Is
Uh,
that the same thing?
Me too. No, it's
No.
different.
That's different.
Embarrassment comes after birth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no scene, nothing to do. But
Well, yeah, that was it. And
And-
we all, it was when the English punk scene was happening,
Yeah.
And so we were buying imports of, the Damned and the Sex Pistols and the Clash and all of that.
Yeah.
And when no one was listening to that, I mean, it was still, Southern rock
Yeah.
and cock rock, so.
and there was we had one record store that the used record store, Poverty Records, was hip
Yes,
enough to
I love that
also
place.
order like new import stuff and put
Yeah.
that in the racks too. So we knew like, if we go in there, we might find some cool stuff. And your brother was shopping there,
Right.
obviously. Britt, brother Jim, and we were shopping there. But the only way we had this meeting, see, Britt represents like, he's from the west side of Wichita.
The northeast side of Wichita.
Oh, it's not even west of
It's just on Broadway.
Main Street.
Broadway and 21st.
So technically,
West.
that's not west.
No, it's not.
I always thought of I always thought of the Rosencutter.
We were on the
as
wrong
being, like,
side
west
of the
side.
tracks. And you were on the right side of the tracks.
Okay. So because Broadway is not really the dividing line, but we did sort of converge. We
Yeah.
met through Poverty Records, literally like
The
putting
hanging
a
tags.
little
Yeah, a card on the
you
bulletin
know,
board
yeah.
that said
Singer
Old
wanted.
school way, man.
Right,
singer
yeah.
wanted for punk band.
Yeah.
like Bowie, Pop, Iggy Pop,
Yeah.
Velvet Underground.
No Patti Smith.
It
was pre-Patti Smith.
That was?
Patti Smith wasn't
the
out.
first
Oh, man, she
45.
She came right out then, I think.
76.
Yeah.
I must be missing her by like a day or two.
Yeah,
She was one
yeah.
of the originals.
Well, I seen in one of the one of those videos, you had that building on the corner there, that triangle building.
Yeah,
that Times Square building's
And
what I
that's,
always called it.
that's 21st and Broadway. That's
Yeah.
the
The
Flatiron.
Flatiron that came along a little bit later because when it was sitting empty,
Yeah.
we had a connection. Just luckily, I think our manager at the time just happened to know who owned the building and that
I
they
always wondered how that came
wanted
about.
to get a little rent money on it. So it's like, oh, okay, we could,
Yeah.
we put artists upstairs. It had like 6 separate art studio rooms upstairs, which was cool. and then we could do music downstairs, and an actual bank vault that you could put everything in at night and then secure it.
Secure
You
it.
knew it wasn't going to get stolen.
Jesse James, the shit, come blow it.
But we had like that first garage we practiced in where Britt's brother Jim, I think, was working at the time.
Hamilton's Conoco.
Yeah, where was that located?
That was at 29th in Arkansas.
I'm sure it's on the map, on the official,
the official
Wichita punk scene map.
There we go.
We will have these available at our show Thursday night. So if you want to know, if you want to have your own copy of the early history,
there's not only a story but also a map that shows you where you could take your own tour.
You could, self-guided Wichita punk history tour.
So indirectly, you're kind of the godfathers of Wichita punk.
You mean responsible?
I don't know.
You mean it's our
Like,
fault?
Is there money involved?
Does that title come with money? And
Is there?
Ask Iggy Pop.
You just walk in anywhere and say,
You're
"Hey,
supposed to be paying us."
That's right. That's right. We can't accept money.
This is
That ain't
2023. You pay to play. Come on.
I watched a few interviews with Iggy. I don't know if you guys like the Stooges or if they were
Oh,
an
yeah,
influence,
big
Absolutely.
influence.
but I mean, I wasn't my first interview, so I knew he was, intellectual. He was, he not the character you would think on stage, flopping around in the broken glass. You think this guy's a fucking idiot. You would think that. Totally not the case. We had. I watched a few interviews where they tried to trip him up and tried to get under his skin, and he just eloquently answered the questions and
move on.
I was like, wow. And then even today when he's still doing stuff, I don't know, it was a more recent interview. It wasn't one back in this when he was still doing the Stooges, but he was, I mean, he's a really good guy, I think. Well, I would like to interview him and sit in a room and just talk to him for a little bit.
And the fact that he's still alive after his, his stage antics.
Yeah, I don't know if he always had that wisdom or if he just sort of, the fact that he survived so long kind of, that it paid off in having this wise perspective on life.
Well, and back then, no one wanted to interview those musicians.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like you guys, the Replacements actually give you guys some credit, by the way. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
The Replacements.
Yeah, they gave them some credit for starting the Replacement sound.
I'm thinking of a different band. I'm thinking of the Refreshments, which is not punk at all. So I was like, what, Kevin?
You know what? People are, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I know.
It could have been freaking
let's see,
Michael Jackson that influenced you guys for all I know. We saw
they used to do a Michael Jackson song.
We saw ABC and we knew we had to start a punk band.
No, it was
some ABBA, baby.
The Stooges. I mean, that had already happened without us knowing about it. It had gone right. The whole Stooges thing had gone right by us. We were actually too young for that, but Iggy was still, busy with his Bowie collaborations, and we were, big Bowie fans. It's like, oh, Iggy, wow, this is great stuff, and it wasn't too hard. Thanks to Poverty Records, you could like dig back and get a copy of the first couple of Stooges albums and realize, like, man, so this was going on back then, and apparently nobody cared about, not very many people cared about it. But it's great that you can still find that stuff. And we were covering Stooges songs before we could learn to play much of anything else. So.
Well, and Jim was really attuned
flashed
to music
everybody up
overall. I think just from reading and whatnot, he was always buying the latest cool thing or knew of the latest cool thing.
You bring up Poverty Records. I remember spending hours just digging through all the vinyl, and then you'd see something, and I know that's where I got some just metal bands and punk bands and just who knows what band, because you'd see them and like you didn't care, or you saw a certain label that you knew about, or you looked at it and it was like, oh, guitar, vocals, drums, bass. Yeah, I'm buying this.
Oh yeah.
Keyboard
looks cool.
Too many keyboards, nah.
Right. Those were different times.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless it was somebody like Yes or Chicago or somebody like that did keyboards, you stayed away from them. That's at least what I did.
I even made the mistake of buying, I think, the first John Cougar album there. It was like, Johnny Cougar. This looks like he could be like the new Bowie.
Yeah,
I'm buying this. Oh!
that didn't work out.
Well,
speaking of kind of like the boss, Springsteen,
Oh,
I don't like his after he got the Easter. I like his just acoustic folk, the greetings from Ashbury Park.
Oh, right.
And I mean, that was more, but he was trying to be Dylan. He even admits, but
yeah.
that's where I was at the time, and I like it more. Can't get into Born in the USA.
No, that never did much for me. But I was a snob. Probably still am more than I would like to think. But definitely back then, I was very snobbish about like what was good.
Yeah.
There wasn't necessarily any logic to it.
Right, out of hand, just
But
It's
like,
yeah,
and
I understand
it predated punk too. It was even like during because I grew up as a Beatles kid, like Beatlemania. I experienced it firsthand, and I was, I had all the Beatles albums at the time they were coming out, and I was a little on the young side, but I had older sisters, so they were buying the records, and it's like, oh, we got the Beatle wigs, like, oh yeah, I love it. And all through the '60s, I thought Beatles and the Monkees were on the same level. They were like neck and neck. I thought they're both good to me. But as soon as they were gone, 1970s, like there's no Beatles, no Monkees. I thought music was just done.
We ended up with Sean Cassidy.
No.
I do run, I do run.
But some stuff was just like, no, don't try to make me listen to this. This is okay. This is not okay.
I think everybody growing up kind of does that, because I remember when back when everything was still considered rock and roll. You still had all these guys, the Stooges, rock and roll, Black Sabbath, rock and roll, Blue Cheer, rock and roll, Motorhead, all those guys. Well, it was actually Hawkwind then,
right?
All considered rock and roll. And then it started splitting out. And then I remember when I started getting into the heavy music, Black Sabbath was my level. Black Sabbath or heavier. But I also was huge Dead Kennedy fans and Circle Jerks and all them. So I was like, okay, but when it comes to that kind of music, I want this going on. So I had two levels that I was literally going, listening to my music. And to be honest with you, doing the Dead Kennedy, Circle Jerks, Fear, Stooges, it's actually a wider range than it's not as limiting as like all the super heavy metal bands.
Absolutely.
Because they reach into the metal and they reach into the ska and heck, we got one song that has a country beat to it. We don't care. It's not a country song, but you'll hear it when it's playing.
Well, let's see, Britt, you got your feet wet in the metal scene at some point early on with punk at the same time.
I don't know if it
or was
really
metal later.
I don't think there was really metal. We were alternative rock at one point. College rock. We were college.
But you were
rock.
REM.
You were listening.
REM?
Well, we were. It was
metal.
the Blivets was the band. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I just
you,
recently,
I mean, even
more
way,
recently, I was listening to a lot of black metal.
you become
that I'd
more of a
never listened
metal.
to. Absolutely. I'm more of like a hardcore fan than I was before.
I mean, I knew you were into Kiss. Back
Oh
in the
yeah,
day.
I was the original.
And see, I drew the
Kiss
line.
fan.
I drew the line. Kiss was on the other side, the wrong side of the line for me. It was
People
like-
either love Kiss or hate Kiss.
No.
It's
Did
like-
you?
But see, I was like
No.
13 or 14, so it was made for me.
Okay, I was too
It
old
was
for Kiss.
designed for me.
Did you see
Yeah.
they did
I was too
their
mature.
final show of their final tour, and the last song of this they walked off stage, and like holograms or some shit,
God.
AI or something, came out and played it.
So the future of Kiss.
The
You can still
future
go
of
see
Kiss.
Kiss.
Well, I'd seen an interview where Gene was like, "The band's going to go on forever, even after we're all dead and gone. I want somebody else in there replaced."
Well, they could have even done that years ago.
Yeah, it
as
was
long as they
never
got the
about
makeup.
being
Just-
human.
It was like Kraftwerk,
He endorses
Just
many
the-
Kiss anyway, so just have them take over.
There you go. Put a new twist.
Many Kiss. Oh, that's funny stuff, though.
But it's true.
I know.
That's the thing. It's true. But
That bird's undergoing some changes.
Yeah.
Nobody
yeah,
wants to
well.
mess with his beak, though, do they?
we pretty much got that part done. We're trying to figure out the body.
If I went in there, I'd be working on something inside of his mouth.
Then go for it.
Yeah, hop on.
But I work small.
Go for it. That's what this is all about.
This is
In fact,
fourth session on this.
Santi,
guys.
hey Santi, how you doing? Oh, who that is?
Oh,
What guys do you
a question about Gene Vincent. Do you address those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
questions as
original
they
punk
come
or
in?
rockabilly.
Whoa, Gene
Gene
Vincent. See,
Vincent.
we consider now. I don't know. I mean, we know who Gene Vincent is,
Right.
and he was in the early punk scene. I think there were more references back to Gene Vincent.
And Eddie Cochran.
Yeah, as far as like even some cover songs, like what's one of the better known Gene Vincent songs? I'm not sure I can even come up with something.
Bebopalula was the hit.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, so Eddie Cochran did who did Summertime Blues?
Eddie Cochran did a version of Summertime Blues.
It wasn't even the original.
I don't think it was the original. No.
Because
who
then-
knows who's done the original? Because that thing is
Yeah.
one that's been done so many
Exactly.
times. This guy might know.
Okay,
But he's saying he feels that after 80, they would have been considered alternative. That
I-
Bebop-a-Luba?
I probably that's a good question from
Cast iron
okay.
something.
'Cause,
Honey J. Badger.
saying questioning whether Gene Vincent was punk or rockabilly. In my mind, in my snobbish attitude, I probably would have lumped him in with more of a rockabilly scene and said that's not my thing. I was a huge Buddy Holly fan. In fact, we still do a Buddy Holly song now that harkens back to like what the Embarrassment used to pick out for covers. I thought like it was amazing what Buddy Holly did for his time and how timeless this because it's
still
about
is.
songwriting.
Well, and I think Gene Vincent's the same way, and I would put those two together simply because of timeline.
But I guess in my snobbishness, maybe this is completely unfair. I never thought that Gene Vincent was somebody to really appreciate that much as a solid songwriter. Like, okay, look at this catalog of songs that people can reinterpret and recover generations later and discover like, wow, these are just solid songs that hold up no matter who's doing it or what. I like that part about Buddy Holly because
He's saying he did do the original version.
Oh, he did?
This guy did anyway.
I believe it. I believe it.
It's very, because it's that time period. But I think though when the Who did it, it kind of
the Who did it as a cover, for
right.
sure.
We did the Who's
Summertime
version.
Blues.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking of in the punk era, didn't the Sex Pistols or at least
There, I bet you if we looked it up, it'd be like Ghost Riders in the Sky. There's probably thousands upon thousands of bands that have done that song.
Or Louis.
I think even my cover band, we actually covered "Summertime Blues."
It's
had
one
like
of those
60
easy,
songs.
Yeah, it's one of those easy tunes to play too.
Yeah,
but the Gene Vincent punk rock tie would be Billy Zoom, who played guitar in X, who I would say is definitely a punk band.
Oh yeah,
played in the last iteration of the Blue Caps with Eddie Cochran,
and that was
with the other
Gene Vincent.
Gene Vincent, yeah.
And you came out with that factoid not too long ago. That was news to me. The punk connection to early rock and roll.
Right.
So
that's why it's all rock and roll.
I love how you're so humble about some of the stuff that you did. Because like I said, you're the only band that I know of at that time. But I was younger. I was 17, 18, 19. Came to college here. I was from a small town where, back then you couldn't just access music. And locally, you had to know who they were to even access them.
To find them.
And find them and see them. And then if you guys had something recorded or not, it was a hit and miss if I found it at like Poverty Records or something. Because that's how I first, I saw Manila Road play. And they actually had a couple of vinyls out. So I went and bought them. And back then, they didn't know how to record that kind of music.
Right,
oh, my God, you could tell.
Oh.
But then the Manila Road's metal album. I love it. I still have it. But it was so, you could tell they just didn't know how to record it.
Oh, yeah.
Were they always considered a metal band?
I think so. I mean, they were probably hard rock.
Rock.
At that time. But then
it's funny because I became really good friends with Mark later. And he goes, man, I was just, and then when people started calling him Epic, he grew up during the time period, early Black Sabbath, all those guys. He goes, man, and Deep Purple. He goes, man, I always considered those guys epic.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Oyster Cult, all those bands. He didn't consider himself epic. No one ever does. It's so hard to say because you want to be at least a little bit original from everybody else.
Right.
Because we call ourselves punk. We call ourselves scuzzy.
Well, and
just because it's a different word. So we're kind of scuzzy.
I think because I wasn't into the Embarrassment and only knew them from a fan's point of view, they were an extremely influential band in the area and nationwide. I mean, there are bands that.
Well, that's the reason. There's some bands that have given, because when I started looking into it, I go, wait, I may have seen these guys. I started checking stuff. I remember that place. Oh, I remember that place too, because I was running college track, so I could only catch you when I could catch you. But then most of the time,
track, you better be able to.
Well,
I
was always out of town. That's the thing. But when I was in town, we were around. It was more about the party than the bands and stuff like that. But I always wanted live bands. I hate the whole disco and DJ scene that came about during that time period.
Right.
I hated it. Why would you go in and just? I'd rather see a cover band play the same songs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Somebody, I can put this on now. Now the DJs now made a whole different thing out of it. It's
Right.
kind of cool to watch. It's weird, but really cool to watch. I got some good friends with it. I'm playing bass with one guy, actually. We got that bass so down tuned and like, but anyway, so back then you just had to know or you didn't know. That's how it was. So
yeah, it takes a certain devotion to be that into the music. It's certainly not for the masses or not for everybody.
Well, I don't think every band's for everybody.
No.
Want
to hop on and do some painting?
Oh gosh, I won't be able to talk at the same time.
Hey, we got a one mic right there.
Oh, I know. I mean, theoretically you could, but you don't know my
There, I'll sit up here.
ability
It's
to
easier with the boots.
multitask.
These boots are-
Musical chairs at this point.
You mean I?
Jared, yes, we're very
There's
ready to
colors
play
and
on
paper.
Thursday.
Are there like paper? I'm
we're
used to
excited
having
to
a
see you
paper towel in
guys.
my hand, but that's not what you do.
And
Well,
Bob Ross it.
Usually, in fact,
practiced
wait a minute.
couple times,
Here's-
so looking
I brought
forward
my
to
own.
it.
I actually do. He doesn't. So when I'm in his house, I do what he does.
You gotta play by the rules.
When in Rome.
Yeah.
There are no rules. It's punk rock rules.
Damn, we're gonna turn on the air conditioner.
The
I'm
punk
hot
rock-
in this thing.
Punk rock.
Gosh, there's no teeny tiny little brushes like
there's-
I'm used to.
There's a long
Oh,
liner guy there.
that's a long one.
I fell in love with that
some
thing.
You know what they say? Long paintbrush,
long strokes.
long strokes.
But yeah, so
I'm
let's
a lover, not a painter.
So that
switch
cast
kind
iron
of
guy
back.
is actually coming up with some cool stuff, cool questions, man.
Let's go back to the 7th here. Let's spend a little time on the 7th. Jared has put on this punk rock show at Kirby's. Got you guys involved, the Embarrassment,
Thank you, Jared.
and like I said, Kevin's band, the Haters Coalition.
It's so much easier to say pretty okay, isn't it?
Well,
That was my last band.
Yeah.
We just
Americana, na 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 na. I haven't heard them. And then Brooks, which is the acoustic guy. I think he plays. I don't know if he has backing tracks. We've seen him at Salina.
Because he was
But,
playing when we came in. We were too busy setting up.
Yeah,
so
it was a blur.
that whole thing was a blur for because we were also painting.
I've been
And
meaning
then
to act
minus
like-
angst.
Yeah,
Don't forget
minus angst.
minus
That's-
angst.
That's Jared's project there.
Yeah, he was on yesterday on his show.
Can Jared explain? Has he explained like what's this Salina connection, and how did the Embarrassment even get to be a part of this?
All I can tell
Okay.
you, the dude is a really hardcore punk fan.
Cool.
Very so much. I mean, kind of like how we were talking, there's a boundary. He's got those boundaries when it comes to punk music. Now, like anybody, everybody listens to everything, but when it comes to music itself, punk's going to be his top dog.
Okay, yeah. Brooks is not acoustic. He's just him with it's electric guitar though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
cool.
acoustic.
Right,
It's
just solo.
solo.
guitar.
There we go.
Yeah.
That was the word. That was a better. Does he have backing tracks? I mean, I think Jared's got music, right?
That's the way I kind of understood it
Understood
from him.
it,
Was
yeah.
and he'll, as I recall, he'll be wearing a chicken suit too. Unless that was a surprise.
We spilled the beans.
That's punk.
I may or may not be coming on as some guy in a red suit.
Yep.
Probably
The
not
show
since
is
it's
at
Thursday.
Kirby's on this coming Thursday, 9 p.m. I think free pastries if you get there early
That's
enough.
what I heard, pastries. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Jared was wants you to bring him weird food so he can yummy
There
or
you
crumb
go.
it.
The
I don't know if it's
yummy or-
supposed to
the
be weird,
yummy
but
or
I'm throwing the
crummy.
weird in here because if you're yummy and crummy, and let's make it weird. Like
I know how to make a jailbird casserole.
jailbird
You
casserole.
will throw up.
Well, and I think there's a free Americana 7-inch with any donation to the tip bucket.
Yeah.
So
We'll have
Everybody's
some
tip
kind of
bucket or
merch.
just
We'll-
theirs.
we'll have some stickers.
Stickers of the embarrassed man. I'm gonna bring a few embarrassment CDs that were recently unearthed.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get a hold
Rare.
of
Oh, that's some rare.
because I'm a huge collector. I mean,
It's a good one.
this room is too small for my collection.
Yeah.
And yeah, but yeah, we got mercy. We got some T-shirts, some hats. Got some brand spanking new patches that came in, very limited. I'm only gonna do probably there was 10 and now there's not.
Yeah.
But
Whatever's
the price,
left.
the price is cool. I'm only selling them for $2 each.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, yeah. What is the most popular type of merch these days? Because it seems like
anymore,
it's changed.
we're shirt salesmen at these things, man.
Yeah, T-shirts. I think are probably
Beanies
the
are
most.
okay.
No chicken suit.
Yeah, Jared says
I'm
no
let
chicken
down
suit.
now.
I can get you one.
Do it.
I know where one's at.
I'm just throwing this
Easy.
out there, Jared. Do it in the nude.
I don't.
G.G. Allen. He was my number
That's
one.
right. There you go.
And,
You go all G.G. Allen.
I
you
can
know,
do
it
that.
wasn't. I don't condone anything he did ever on
Oh,
stage.
heavens no.
It's like looking at. I mean, his whole career, his interviews are like. It's like you.
Yeah,
It's
kill
painful.
the man.
He was an
kind of thing.
extreme dude.
Yeah, he
He
was.
came through a few years before he died, and he did one of those talking things here in Wichita.
Yeah.
And people were so scared that he was gonna poop in his hand and throw it at the people, but he didn't. He was actually kind of normal up there, except for his speech.
Yeah, I mean,
And everybody's
he's
like,
the
oh no,
Messiah.
he's gonna throw, and I'm like,
I'm
then
coming
don't
for
go.
your kids. You know.
Just stay out of his way when he starts pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll have some warning.
You think it? You think so?
At least a
Yeah.
few seconds anyway.
Yeah, if he's grunting.
Depends on how much
Yeah,
X-Lax
exactly.
he ate before the show, I guess.
Because I was
Cocaine or
actually
whatever.
honored to open for his band, but he was dead already. So, but his brother's
Yeah,
about
murder
that
junkies.
sick.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. But he had a weird story, and like I said, he in his interviews he said, I'm gonna live. I know he planned on like committing suicide. He OD'd before that date, I believe, but he had a date that he was like, I'm gonna kill myself this date, And then we don't condone suicide or nothing like that, but this is what G.G. Allen had said, and he OD'd beforehand. But like I said, he was the most hated, and he wasn't very popular in his time. It wasn't to the next generation of
Between
rock and
him
roll.
and the mentors,
It
man.
was
Yeah.
again the spectacle.
Yeah. And like I said, again, he didn't really consider himself punk, which
I wouldn't think. But then again,
If you go with the attitude,
punkest,
if you
maybe.
go with
Yeah.
the attitude, yes.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
go with the
Yeah, yeah.
music, I mean, punk's not just necessarily music itself.
Well, that's why I don't like labels.
Well,
That's,
yeah.
that's the that's
I mean, the
the
first time,
establishment trying to put a label on
And then-
something that's trying to
then
be
you saw these pop
anti-establishment.
artists wearing punk like
Yeah.
tattoos, and they're saying they're punk when they're more pop. and
Just
stuff
know
like that.
so they know where to find you in the record
Yeah.
store.
right? Well, the first Tucking Heads album was supposedly punk, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's
They were-
I thought it was new wave.
Well, it was a fantastic record.
I didn't even. I consider more like the new alternative when it came out.
Even
New
Devo, I
Wave
think
was
it's
like-
still
And seeing again them, their first album I would say is a punk album,
Yeah.
but then I would say the new wave or what was considered new wave
Yeah.
then. But again, as said,
It's whatever you want
Why
to
you
call
have
it.
to have a
And
label.
yeah, it was good.
a lot of people
Listen to
got to
it.
compartmentalize, because if they want to say, "Oh, hey, I need to find another circle jerk. How would I find them?" But I don't want to listen to them.
right.
And then, punk. I'll look at the punk section.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Same with metal. But metal's become such a three-headed monster. You say
Yeah,
metal,
so I
you
was
got all
looking-
kinds of stuff.
In my research for yesterday, like I said, I kind of went pre-punk and what kind of influenced and the Greasers. It looks like it's like that it's like just the new version of the Greasers. The rockabilly. It's still got the the fuck the establishment. That's got that feel, because that's what Greasers and rockabilly and stuff was.
And a lot of the original punk was much more minimal.
Yeah.
Than the Ramones, and I would say that would be, as far as the term punk, that would be where it started.
Yeah.
was with-
Because they even say when we started playing our instruments, nobody's even how to play them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You know.
and
And if you
and then and at that point, or at that time, punk was more of an insult then and then that was kind of taken as a badge, of honor.
Yeah.
Then from that point on.
We pissed them off, and
That's kind
Right.
of
Well, I
Yeah.
kind of like that
Yeah.
punk name.
people say it too much becomes something. That's how it works too.
Yeah, I think when they started selling it in Hot Topic, it was like,
Right.
I think it's dead, guys.
Well,
I think it's dead.
or when you put pop in front of it, it's
Well,
like, okay,
yeah.
then you're kind of
Like I
is
said,
it even punk? Then?
I love Blink
or-
82, but I don't
or
put him on the
Bubblegum.
same level as Gigi or the Stooges.
Right.
Bubblegum.
And the
punk.
shit Gigi
A
was
shopping
doing.
mall punk. There we go.
Yeah.
I want to be a shopping mall punk band.
Well,
You heard it first here.
Yeah.
Nestle would probably ground
Mark
me.
this date.
Well, the shock rock with Alice Cooper. I mean, not punk, but even Marilyn Manson. The shit Gigi was doing would make them look like saints.
Oh, absolutely. We went to see Marilyn Manson when he was here the last time.
Yeah.
And just to see what the whole,
Yeah.
shtick was about, and it was just,
When he played the old Rock Island,
your screen's
and
gone green.
when he played the old Rock Island, he actually did break the bottle hold around the glass and stuff. But when he started getting bigger, I guess.
Yeah, this was a, whatever.
He played at the Cotillion one time, and
This was a freaking, what's the
Hartman.
place? No, what used to be the
Century, or not Century 2. The big round places now. It's part of WSU.
not Coke Arena. It's
Henry Levitt Arena?
It wasn't at Henry Levitt or Coke Arena.
No, out of town.
It was the one
Coliseum.
out the Coliseum.
Oh, yeah.
I was getting there. I had to work my way out.
Work
there.
Me
your way
too.
there.
Yeah, I saw him play there.
The
too.
other barn.
And by then, the whole act was mellowed out.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, it had to have been because it was not shocking at all.
When I saw the original Alice Cooper band at Henry Levitt Arena on the campus of Wichita State, that was a life-changing kind of concert.
Well,
But,
that was shocking.
I was
for
at
the
that.
time, too.
Those were my formative years. I think I was 16 now. A little late for the formative years. I don't know. 16. I was buying all that.
Yeah. Well, he was brilliant because
It was all also special effects that he was doing.
because
The early
it was the
special effects.
Alice Cooper band, but he kind of like, screw the band, I'm going to carry on.
Oh,
He just did the solo. It was the most graceful transition because nobody knew.
oh yeah. It just kept
Because
going.
He just dropped the band.
Well, yeah, he wanted to keep that theatrical.
Yeah.
part
Yeah,
going,
but
and
I-
the band didn't.
Yeah, like a year or two later, I did see him come back on a solo tour promoting "Welcome to My Nightmare."
Right,
Yeah.
It must have been
yeah.
2 years later because there was no Muscle of Love tour
Right.
in between. But without the band, I mean, it was fun to see Alice Cooper doing the solo show and being so much more popular now with more people. I kind of thought, I was right about Alice Cooper, but it was missing a lot without the toughness of the rock band. I mean, they became a really powerful band at their peak.
Yeah.
And that was all gone.
Right. He still had some pretty good guitar players though.
Oh yeah, the session,
Because wasn't it the same guys that did the Lou Reed live?
well, they had Dick Wagner, Steve
Yeah.
Hunter. They had come
Hunter
into
and
the
Wagner,
scene to
yeah.
kind of save the Alice
Save
Cooper
rock and
band.
roll.
Well, they had to kind of step in for like Glenn Buxton of the Alice Cooper band. He wasn't capable of really playing well enough in the studio, and some of the unfortunately he was having some issues, and even live they had extra guitarists with them on tour that kind of
Yeah.
hide in the shadows.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So then I think
Like that
they kept
fourth Nirvana member I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And now it's like he's like
I saw someone-
everywhere. I guess he's with Foo Fighters.
I saw someone posting the signatures of the Clash, and there were 5 signatures.
It's like,
Wait a minute.
Where's 3? Where'd the other 2 come
Well,
from?
there was 4, but
Well,
it's like
There was 3 you see most of the time. But I
but it was the keyboard player that toured after London Calling. So
a keyboard player in
Yeah.
the Clash.
hey,
Mickey
call
Gal-
that rock. Gotta have that
Straight to
keyboard.
hell made
Mickey
my list.
Gallagher.
And then
Get
that-
out of that.
All the
Radio Clash.
getting new life with being sampled in hip hop music and covers it too. But
Oh yeah.
'Cause
yeah.
I heard MIA before I really paid. It came popular on the movie Pineapple
Oh
Express.
yeah, Paper
And it-
Planes.
Yeah. Dun,
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I was listening to the album and I'm like, wait, what?
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah, well, but
Like, oh,
sampling, that's another show.
yeah.
I think a lot of people came through that whole time period because all of a sudden you had synths and because even Judas Priest did it for a couple albums. you know, and then
Well, when it came out, yeah, just like auto tunes and all the new
Everybody
toys,
jumped on it.
all the new toys, everybody's got to try
there's
it.
like 2 albums
Till-
where I did that whole
Pat
thing.
Boone had a punk album.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess it was a heavy metal album.
Well, MGK now is a rock guy. He's not a rapper now, so
He calls himself punk, but again, I don't.
or whatever.
I think his
Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't like him when he was a rapper. I definitely don't know if I'll like him now.
I don't know. It like so one of Iggy's comments when he was talking about not liking the term punk rock is that it's more about fashion, and it definitely, because that was one thing that obviously set punk apart from any other genre generally. I mean, I don't know about your band at the time, but I mean, you see Bill on the street back in the day, you probably wouldn't think he was in a punk band because he was just normal clothes. He wasn't
right.
wearing the black leather chains, mohawk, dyed hair, piercings.
I mean,
all
that
over.
came along, but
Yeah.
yeah, when we were doing it, there wasn't a lot of that. I mean, there was some black jackets and
Yeah.
You got to
Short haircuts,
The exploited caused all that. It was in all their artwork.
Like I said, I mean, Judas Priest is claimed to have that, give the black leather look to rock and roll. And again, it all falls into rock and roll first. So.
Absolutely.
I'm going to bring back everybody dressing like Santa Claus.
And like I said, he always
You got a
laughed.
good head start on it there,
Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah, you got to start back in.
He already knows. You never know what I'm going to show up in because a lot of times I'm doing a show just before the punk show. I showed up one time in a fairy suit. Showed up one time dressed as a cowboy. Did a New Year's Eve party, so I kind of had that kind of look going with, how they do the hat and I had a tie. Almost had a suit on.
Yeah.
And, you never know. You just never know, man.
Kevin. Do like an elf Santa Spalding with an axe.
A reindeer.
Yeah.
Mm.
With a reindeer head and an axe.
There you go.
There we go. Severed.
Yeah,
Blood
you do know when I was,
Slayer.
you do know when I
Blood
was in
dripping
Rabbit
Rudolph
666,
head.
we used to have a pig head up on stage. And that was impaled on one of those old rooftop lightning rod things.
Something wicked this way comes.
That had nothing to do with me, though. That had everything to do with Sean.
Yeah, blame it on him. Blame it
I only sang 2 songs then. That whole set.
on him. Jared, I think I don't know who you talking about there. Seen him live? You talking about MGK?
We were.
All I got to do is
Yeah,
listen.
it's
There's like a 5-minute pause on these things. So he was doing that too.
That ain't punk.
No, it just is what it is. Because it's
Well,
kind
that's Hot Topic punk.
Yeah.
it's kind of like when Vanilla Ice did that punk album,
Well, it's a metal album.
a metal album, whatever.
Yeah.
I actually own it because I kind of like the one song on there. I don't know. It's not really metal either.
You mean Ice
Ice
Tea?
No,
Ice Ice
Vanilla
Baby.
Ice.
Oh.
He redid like his
Ice
first
Ice Baby.
album. He redid the Ice Ice Baby
Yeah.
song, and he
That's
did it all
sad.
with like guitars and drums and everything. It actually turned out better than the original stuff because
What was Ice T's metal band?
Oh,
body
Body
Count.
Count.
Yeah. That
That
was,
was a good transition.
And like I said, I like Suicidal Tendencies, and they kind of play the fence. I don't know if they were
Right.
punk or metal. I mean, I don't.
And that's why I didn't really like hardcore so much at that time, because it was a little too metal-y for me at the time.
Yeah.
But over time, I've developed.
Suicidal
more of a
Tendencies
like for it.
had a following called the Suicidals. So for a while there, that music was specifically based on them, called Suicidals.
Yeah, in a time a lot less sensitive where we could joke about suicide,
Oh yeah, well yeah,
or at least
And-
talk about it.
Still do. Dial
Well,
988.
we're probably going to be. We're probably already shut off the air because we've said it twice.
Well, no, that's what we're talking about. I said if you are feeling it, dial 988. You might get me answering that phone, believe it or not.
Wow, Santa! I never knew.
No, I work in that place. In my day job,
Moonlights. Sam's got to pay the bills.
Those
right?
toys
right.
get
That's-
expensive.
Oh, I know. I went shopping.
No one puts a donation when I'm sitting there and they're asking for toys.
Yeah, I went
They're
shopping
just asking for toys. That's money.
last night. $120.
Yeah.
Two bags.
Never give up.
Oh, you saw the picture where I was walking the street, right? $1 a buck,
A
man.
buck's a buck.
that
Talking about what
was
Wanda Sykes from Pootie Tang. Why do you think I'm dressed pretty and dancing on the corner? You think I'm a prostitute?
of all people that catch me walking down the street as Santa Claus. There's a guy that doesn't even live in town, but he knew who I was.
It was Dustin, right?
Yeah, I was like,
I see that.
of all times, 5 minutes later, 5 minutes sooner, or when he
missed
seen
it.
it.
Yeah.
He must have been turning that corner and caught me.
Turning that corner.
Yeah. He probably, oh, hey, there's Santa, man.
There's Santa.
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
So what can we expect from the show that you guys are going to put on? Or is it going to be a surprise?
Oh, no. I mean, if you know the embarrassment, you know the material for the most part. Maybe it'll be a little faster.
No.
The way it should be, the way it was meant to be.
That's right.
We
Yeah.
play the embarrassment songs the right way.
Fast and loud.
Yeah.
And that kind of music is actually not meant to be recorded necessarily. You know, because I find when we do our stuff, our songs are never the same from time to time because a lot of times it's by the feel of the crowd. You know that because I'll start yelling your name in the middle of the song.
Oh, yeah.
So that
Give me water. Give me water. Give me water. Like
I forgot about
like
that
a bar,
one.
like the bar bitch, Kevin's bar
I couldn't
bitch.
talk. I'm sitting there singing. I was like, my mouth was just super, super dry, and I knew I had like 4 more songs. I was like, man, I'm not gonna make it.
His water was right in front of him, but
I couldn't find it.
I mean, it was like on my table or something, and I had to go.
All I did was
Stand in
point for it,
line and get it.
then I found it after you walked
Yeah,
off. I just pointed at you like that. You took
Then
off.
on Spotify, the embarrassment have got like the 2 albums and then like the 1979 like a little capsulated thing. I think like a tribute, not a tribute, but a
There's
I
a
don't know
couple
what.
of collections.
I don't use
think.
Spotify. Are you a Spotify guy?
Not so much, no, but I do think that Heyday is on there, which is a compilation of
yeah. Yeah.
songs. Isn't that what it's called?
Heyday was pretty much like the entire catalog of studio
Recorded,
recordings from 79 to 83, which
Yeah.
was really the work the active period.
Yeah.
And then there's a
But-
CD called Blister Pop that
Yep.
will be sold at the show. There's a few copies of it, and it's a lot of live stuff and covers and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's the Embarrassment, heavy on the T,
Yeah.
and
Not
then
the
of
D.
course- yeah, or not just the N.
Yeah, our band, the what do we call it?
The Embarrassed Men.
Or just the embarrassment without the T on the end.
The Embarrassment.
That's an easy one. But we're not a
that way we
recording
can use all of
band
their
currently.
already printed stuff.
Yeah,
Just cross out the T.
We exist.
Make it punk rock.
There you go.
Yeah.
We only exist as a performing entity, not a recording band.
Yeah.
We're just in it for the love of
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? You
So,
don't need to recreate. You created enough back in the day, man.
Yeah.
It's
Like I said,
already there.
The scene is. I mean,
And there-
I
and
don't
there's
think
a
you
new
can get
genera-
rich doing music
And
anymore.
there's a new generation of people who want to hear
Not unless you
that
got a TikTok
style
and
Well,
of
that's what I
music.
would think, and that's what I'm thinking is, nobody's gonna know these songs because I mean it's except for
A lot of
a few.
people,
Hopefully, people are listening to on what's on YouTube and
when
what's
they
on
brought that
Spotify.
document out in last year or the year before, it was 22.
The
I think.
documentary, it debuted last year
Yeah.
at the tall.
So the interest for you guys, because when I was hanging up the posters at a few places, the Gate being one of them, he goes, "Oh, I know those guys. You should have a decent crowd." He goes, "Yeah, they were at the Tallgrass Festival. They showed their
They're famous. We just don't remember, right?
yeah."
Yep. I love that. I thought that was clever shit.
It's a song lyric actually.
Yeah, I think
It's my lyric, but I wasn't too keen on it being the movie title, personally. I kept wanting to suggest, like, how about if maybe you should just call it this, but it wasn't any of my business. But I didn't think that was a good choice for a title, personally. What do I know?
Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah.
Okay,
They didn't change it, Bill.
Well, that's why.
Yeah,
No, I
change
didn't tell
a
them.
lot of
I
times you got to let
didn't
the
complain.
guys do.
They're
their
watching
job.
now. They're in the process of changing it
'Cause,
because everybody watches.
Because we got a new video coming out, and I just let my artist go for it. And then there's a couple of things he pointed out that needs to be fixed, and we wouldn't even have noticed if he would have said anything.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Cast Iron says, funny how Rob Halford and the biker from the Village people dress exactly the same, and no one put it together back in the day. Yeah,
Oh,
I was gonna
no.
say that he
we
chuckles
actually-
about it
I
now.
was from that time period. We knew. People don't think we didn't know. They always think people are ignorant towards all that stuff, but people knew.
Well, it was, I think, with social media, it's all in everybody's faces.
You might as well just
and-
say it flat out, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, just I don't know. It's certainly not the same world I grew up in.
No, not the same.
Yeah.
Because back then, it was funny. Even back then, most people didn't even care. It was just in the 80s and stuff. What made people care was the damn media not shutting their damn mouth. And it's the same as now. And that's part of the reason. That's what punk's about. You know, big middle finger to the media and to all the established, corporations. And like when I sing songs, I'm just going to sing songs about whatever I feel like singing about.
Yeah.
I may be talking about monsters, but am I really talking about monsters?
I love that attitude. That is punk. That is.
And I'm one of those too. I could care less if there's one person in that tomorrow. If one person shows up or 1,000 show up, I don't care. I've played plenty of shows to the bartender.
Absolutely.
And I will throw it down just as hard as if I have 1 million people out there.
Yep.
Probably less hard when there's more people because that's a lot of people. But
we call those public rehearsal.
Yeah. All of them are rehearsal anyway. That's,
Yep.
And especially I like I've been on bigger stages and I've been smaller stages, and I love the smaller ones, especially when I know people, because I'll throw their names into my songs.
Speaking of stages, what's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on stage?
Wow. I don't know.
And coming from the band The Embarrassment,
I think just
show it up. Well,
Mint, not mint. There's no S down there.
Grammar police over here.
Yeah,
today. I forgot the on the thing. If you didn't notice,
I don't care about the embarrassment because everybody keeps forgetting our the too.
We were gonna go with the sexagenarian pistols, but it's just too much to put on a poster.
Yeah.
It is a long. Otherwise, it's really funny.
It is really
so
Put it in H, that's fine. So people have to look
That's
real
it.
close.
No, just make the sex and the pistols really big, and the rest of the sex.
Well, nowadays you can just put one of those things where you can scan it and it'll pop in. And
There you go.
Yeah.
Probably go straight to some porn site though.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops, wrong one.
Yeah, I don't want to know what those embarrassed men are.
So most embarrassing, or is that it? See.
I don't know that I've had anything that
You've been lucky.
For
me, it's
breaking.
Oh, right there. He just had
It's
it.
gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I hit that
It's gonna
thing.
leave 'em.
Nice work before the show's over.
Hello, all of you at home. I hope you enjoyed that.
Don't.
That
I think it. I don't think it.
I hit it all the
He
time.
does it all the time, and I
But
go
have a
back
hat,
and try to hear
But I
it.
have a hat, and so a lot of times it scrapes it, so you hear
there's something in the bird's mouth, in the bird's beak now. It's a little person being
Awesome.
half swallowed.
See,
and
that's the
there's
fun of it.
You're
some
right
other
up my alley,
creature
'cause he's
behind
known
the
on-
bird that
I'm known to do that.
Oh
all the
yeah,
time.
we call him his coffee cups because of the coffee cup.
Yeah, I was drawing that, and I was trying to draw some kind of square thing. It didn't work out, so I put a coffee cup there instead.
They're not all coffee cups, but they're now known as
We
Kevin's
call
coffee
them
cup.
the coffee cups.
Yeah.
Not just the stuff that means nothing to the picture at all. We call it the coffee cups.
There's some scary imagery.
We even did. You missed that there. Our
movie
our
poster.
movie
yeah.
poster of a movie that's never come out yet. So we're hoping someone picks it up and make a movie off our movie poster.
Busting out.
Yeah,
D
double
block.
D block
Why
busting
not?
out.
Are we still going out live?
Yeah, we're still
Oh, yeah.
going out.
Cool.
We're gonna wrap it up here. We'll talk about the seventh one last time.
Big show. Be there.
Like I said, that's the only thing you guys got on the calendar right now, right? Or you got
Oh, this is a rare event. We like to play in the basement more than
Yeah, we do the basement weekly.
yeah.
That's a lot harder gig to catch for you guys.
Yeah, we have
I'm not against the idea.
It's
But
not
you're
an
not gonna
all
put your
ages
address out
basement.
either, right?
Well, no.
$100 a pop.
By
you can
invitation
come.
only.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how mine are too.
I think it's
Invitation only.
minimum age is 60 to be
Damn,
allowed in
gotta
that
bring the
venue.
chair.
I'm not
Cheers,
60 till May.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah, we're serious about
But hey, I know the band. I know
There
the
you
band.
go. There you go.
it.
But it'll be fun.
Yeah.
What is it?
Kirby's got the December 7th and the Embarrassed Men
And
playing the songs of the Embarrassment.
and you get a sense that there's going to be some theatrical like props and stuff because that's me on the poster, and yet that's not the way I appear in
Everyday life.
life, right?
There's
So,
some big old-
what the hell's going on there?
I've seen it before.
It's not unknown for me too to
Yeah.
have props. So.
Is
Oh,
this the-
really, Santa?
3 hours of fun. I'm glad that that's more clear now because when I first looked at the poster, I thought there were going to be a total of 3 punk songs.
Yeah. Just 3
Yeah.
punk
Three
songs.
three
And-
punk
yeah.
songs between 5 bands.
Well-
and we have to fight over
Wow.
who gets the
Yeah,
punk songs.
yeah.
It's gonna be just a medley.
How do they do
It's just
that?
gonna be a medley of songs.
You got to stick around to the end because we're going to play some punk favorites. We're not. I mean, you know, we wanted to.
Who is that lineup, by
add
the
some
way, Bill?
special. Who
Who is
on
that
the
lineup on Thursday?
You mean Minus Angst
Yeah.
and Brooks?
Okay.
BRX, you pronounce it Brooks. I
Brooks,
mean,
yep.
if you're cool enough
If
to
you're
know
in on
that.
the scene,
I've been saying it wrong a long
So,
time,
me
so I
too.
apologize.
Yeah,
I
too.
BRX'd it for sure.
My friends on the street told me.
Yeah.
And then the next one. See, my
Haters.
I have
The
bifocals.
haters.
Yeah, get the S. in
The
there.
Haters Coalition.
Yes.
The Hate
See,
Coalition.
That is a smaller
That's fine, I
font
don't
than
care
I'm.
anymore.
Yeah.
But then Americana.
Those are the I have
They're
not
fun.
heard.
Did they
It's
do
a
like
play
50s
on-
covers?
It's kind of a play on Shanana.
I think
They're a Shauna cover band.
Yeah, they're a
Yeah.
Shauna cover. That's a cover. Double cover, undercover, double D.
No, they got
breakout.
that. They got that Americana kind of
I'm not
sound
gonna paint
with a
some-
blend,
at the painting.
with a blend of some punk and rock.
Some posters mentioned that it was a record release party, and that's
That's for them.
actually true because we have a track on this new release of a American Canadian punk 5 CD compilation, but it's a British import.
Yeah.
So we're told that you can probably get it on Amazon, and it's really cool. It's very well curated, I guess is the term they use now. The way they selected and put the songs, I had fun listening to it,
Yeah.
even though it's like, oh, a lot of these bands completely went right past me at the time. They were like regional bands that might
Yeah.
have put out, one cool record or something, kind of like maybe what we did, but in their own little pocket. And so there's a lot of good stuff that represents the era.
Yeah.
And the energy of that scene. But there's even who were like some of the big names. They put some Dead Kennedy stuff on there, and
The Ramones
Yeah.
are on there.
the
Richard
Iggy's
Hell
on
and the
there.
Voidoids are on there.
Who?
Richard Hell and the Voidoids.
Oh, yeah.
Like Generation.
I'm gonna have to look that one back. I have not. I got that somewhere in my
Oh,
house.
there, yeah. That's- yeah.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have an alphabetical order anymore. 'cause I got married.
Blondie's even Blondie's
Yeah.
on there with a really early track,
Oh,
which is is that punk? Well, it was
It was out at that time.
at
They
the
were-
time.
they
It
were
was
the
it
CBGB
fit
band.
because it was.
And the way she sung and the way it was done was just so different than everybody else. And that's kind of what
It was the raw. I had the
they're
rawness.
just at that time. That's what kind of
One of the
defined
best
what
drummers in
punk
rock and roll,
was.
and that's all that matters.
Patti
is how
Smith
good
is
the
on there.
drummer
I'm
is.
still not sure she's punk, but Patti Smith was on there.
She was. Horses was 1975.
She's a poet.
So my bad earlier.
I thought that was poetry.
I mean, you read what on there
Yeah,
too.
like I said,
man?
we could go down this rabbit hole.
That's poetry, isn't
It's
it?
like,
Yeah,
what-
man,
what
we
is-
would've
what is-
been a
what is
Godfather,
existence?
too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna get off here. I gotta get some food in my belly. I'm starting to get hangry.
I gotta wash the paint off my.
I still haven't eaten, so it's been a while.
Yeah, Kevin's definitely getting hangry.
Food's getting
I mean, Santa is definitely getting.
So
I forgot the whole episode. I didn't change it. You didn't tell me.
Kevin, my elf, is on Secret Santa business.
But yeah, so check out Thursday at Barleycorns at Kirby's.
Kirby!
Thursday.
Kirby's.
Be
Any-
there.
The
Don't go to
institution.
Barleycorns.
Don't go to
Free to get
Barleycorns.
in.
Go
It
to
sounds like
Kirby's.
there's going to be some cool
Free
merch from all
pastry.
at least the 3 live bands. I don't know what the other guys have, but I know we have some. I know you guys saw some. And we may or may not drop our video that night. We haven't decided
I
yet.
thought you were gonna say pants, Kevin. I was gonna just cut you off here.
Drop my pants? No.
Yeah.
I'm,
Have a good night,
I'm
everybody.
not the Cups,
Hey,
man.
thanks.
Not Gigi, huh?
No, the Cups used to do that all the time. Now.
Thanks for having us.
I got an outro to do on this podcast. Damn.
Hey, Britt, did you wear the same?